See, it's quite Shakespearean, isn't it? Yeah. It's kind of like the Iago of Love Island, isn't it? Oh, we are back for another episode of Love or Lie Island. I'm joined by the fabulous Judi James. And just 2 words, Casa Amor has lived up to all expectations again.
3 words. Everyone loved Naz. Remember?
Yeah, remember that. Remember that. No, actually. But yeah, again, hasn't failed to disappoint. But just this year, more than ever, this has been the most savage I think we've ever had.
It's certainly brewing up to that. The only saving grace is that I think the actual relationships, the original ones, were kind of maybe less real.
Yeah.
If any of them are real, but I don't feel quite, apart obviously from Shaughna that everybody's very concerned about. With the rest of them, I don't think there was anything much to break there, really.
There hasn't been anything that solid this year, really, has there?
No.
But from the get-go, the boys knew exactly what they wanted, and it was very much out of sight, out of mind. So let's take a look at the moment they first arrived at Casa Amor.
Boys. I can hear voices, Callum. Yeah, I can hear. They're coming. Yeah, yours is like surfer, like that. Look. What, mate, honestly, yours is... There's a mirror over here. Is there? Jesus Christ, it's heavy.
Now, I wasn't sure if I was watching Love Island or like an episode of David Attenborough Exploring Apes. Like, it was just so primal and it was bizarre.
Completely animal. I mean, they got into a state of over-agitation, didn't they? From the moment they heard, they were jumping on one another, screeching when they got grooming one another, pumping up. Yeah. And for me, the worst thing was when they got out of whatever it was that delivered them there, and they got their cases, and they were so animal they couldn't even walk upright. You know, they were. It was. I would have thought, as a woman, it's quite scary, but for a man, it must be sad. I would imagine that how quickly they strip back from being these, as we thought, kind of surrendered males, making breakfast for their females, grown up and everything. And suddenly, like that, they reverted to this. And the point is, it's funny, but in terms of society as a whole, I'm slightly worried.
No, it's quite concerning. And people look up to these guys, unfortunately.
I know, and some of them have got kind of jobs where maybe they should be respected. Yes, it's fun, but the glee to be away from the women, and I can get that, actually, because they're a bit...
And getting out the villa. Like, it is actually a very different scenario for them than it is for the girls in several ways, isn't it, I guess?
And I think these shows, Love Island, I think they're always more about the dynamics between the guys. I think, in a way, the women are kind of, I hate to say it, a necessary byproduct where to win, they've got to pretend to be in love.
Yeah.
But I think it's always been about how the guys get on, the male hierarchy in the group and everything like that, whether they're impressing the other guys or not. And I think we've seen over the past few series, the more enduring and saleable relationships after the show are those bromances. Yeah. So, I find that to be reminded of that is extra fascinating.
Was there anyone in that clip that kind of really caught your eye?
All of them in a colour. Really. Oh my God! Wait, I have to say though, and he's currently hero number 1. Finn.
I think I know what you're going to say. Yeah. Straight
Finn,
to the mirror.
He was leading. He'd almost moved into the leader role. I think he'd kind of taken over from Mike to a certain extent, and I was fascinated because he is the one that has gone in there, pumping everybody else up, doing the hair for them and everything, leading the fray. And then, I'm actually going to sleep out here and be the really good guy. And I reckon he's wound those other guys up, verbally as well.
We're going to get to that, because I actually thought going into the, he seemed the most excited to be getting to Casa Amor.
He absolutely did.
You see when he was on stage and he was like doing this and jumping around.
He's the youngest. I mean, I know he's coming across as probably the most adult. That's a very low bar. But... yeah, I think that guy's very shrewd, actually. And he was completely... How many times did we see him doing a cartwheel and God knows what else? So, yeah, absolutely. Keep an eye on Finn. I know he's probably wonderful, but I think he might be another one that's going to go from slip down the slippery slope from hero to zero if we're not careful.
I think it was Natalia as well. It was kind of almost straight as when he was in there. He was very open to having a chat with her, and he was like poised back, and they were like flirting about his beard.
Well, the pit bearing. I mean, you know, that's him taking control. Very confident. I think he's probably smarter than a lot of the guys in there. I admire the fact that he's probably not overtly shamed.
Yeah.
But I don't really believe in his relationship with Paige particularly.
No.
But if he's in there to win and he's worked out that's the best way to win, good for him.
Well, we're going to take another look at Finn now because I've found his dynamic with Callum really interesting this week.
Look at you, mate. The sexual attraction, mate. The sexual tension in the air, mate. Like, I look at her and think, I want to rip your clothes off. I think that's a massive thing, that's a massive part of a relationship for me, that. Do you have that with Shaughna? No, I'll be honest, no.
We've all seen it. The way you've been since we came here, mate, you've been buzzing.
You've been a different man.
See, it's quite
like
Shakespearean, isn't it? Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of like the Iago of the Love Island, isn't it?
Complete.
Yeah.
My brain just came out of your mouth. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's easy to miss because everybody thinks, oh, there's Finn being the sensible guy. And no, he had the two villa alphas. He was getting attention from them. You could see the way when he was laying on the bed with Finn, his foot was obviously enjoying the fact that he got this kind of attention going on. But you can also see that wonderful blank look in his eyes. And you always see with him, he also reminds me of, do you watch Father Ted, Dougal?
Oh, yes,
he's got those kind of rolling eyes where he's got to, what should I do? What should I be thinking right now? And you could see anybody that he sits with who tells him what to do, he loves it. And you could see that Finn was dripping poison into his ear at that point. And that wonderful moment with Finn where he said, not that he would ever want to split him up from his relationship, but this is the first time I've seen you be like this, how you were before, i.e., you changed when you were with Shaughna, and this is kind of stag do behaviour. Do you know when
lads on tour?
Yeah, when guys have a stag do, it relates to animal behaviour. That what they're trying to do is actually completely separate them, so they don't lose them from the pack. That's why all that awful behaviour. It's to break up the relationship. This was it. This is what was going, and you could see Callum. I mean, he'd take advice from anybody.
I mean, it doesn't take much, does it? But like...
No. And you could see him sitting there saying, all right, OK, that's a good thing to do. I mean, if you said, why don't you go and jump in the pool, Callum, he'd probably be in there.
But I mean, he's kind of gone under the radar up to this point, Finn, and then for me this week, he's really stepped up as kind of, he wants to win this.
Oh, and I absolutely, he will be my hero just for wanting to do that. And I know that sounds awful. I don't think Paige is that bothered, really. She obviously doesn't want to split with him, but I don't think she's that smitten. But he's the youngest guy in there, I think, is it? And he's emerging as the cleverest. The only thing that I would say with the rest of the guys, I think they've learnt with Love Island over the series that they haven't got a lot to lose if they behave badly in Casa Amor, because if you look at the ones that traditionally did, like
Michael Curtis,
they've all done really well outside the villa. And the other problem I think that they know in a commercial sense is the fact that if you go out paired off with somebody, there's not a lot of other work apart from being with the woman on appearances. If you go out as the kind of bad guy and the solo, how many celebrity dating shows are there out there? You know, you'll be on Dancing on Ice, you'll get celebs go dating. There's more work out there for a single guy with a bit of reputation. So they might miss out on the prize money, but I think if they're looking to... However, having said that, I don't think that would even cross Callum's mental horizon.
I think that's giving him too much credit, isn't it? Also, Mike in that clip was kind of encouraging Callum, considering Shaughna's one of his best friends in the house. I thought it's quite interesting how it's kind of diverting the spotlight away from his own appalling behaviour the past couple of weeks. And
there's no best friends in there. And if you remember the history between those two, is that she called him out as being the game player. And, you know, he's the next copper. That will have stuck in his mind. That was a dent to his perfect ego.
It's quite interesting having Mike and Finn almost playing the same game, but not together.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And that's that kind of... This is the week where I think Finley stepped up as the alpha of the boys now.
Yes. Yeah.
And Mike's kind of taken...
Yeah.
He's losing the game, essentially.
I think he is. I have to say that I think he and Priscilla are very watchable. And I think, whether you like Mike or not, I think the fact that he did have a lot of hard work, didn't he? Yeah. She wasn't ever giving him anything back. And suddenly there's a woman that seems... They're kind of on the same wavelength and they're playing the same game to a certain extent. And I think that's a lot more of a buzzy relationship. And I think that's quite good to see. So I think when he goes back with her, I think he's probably got enough time to reboot as being a couple that might win it. And her wig... Oh, that's the star of the show for me. I was fascinated.
It was great,
It was
wasn't
amazing. And I love the way they were saying, is that a wig? She's been off and bleached.
I thought their kiss was quite impressive as well, in front of everyone on the stage. And
you're cheering from one side and everything like that. Yeah, I got completely upstaged by Rebecca's kiss, I'm afraid. That was a matter of some not winning me tea. I mean, where the tongues went in that one, I was like, what? What?
Pretty much all the action this week has been in Casa Amor. And like we were saying earlier, our hero of last week, Naz.
Yes.
This week, I don't really know what happened, but I really didn't see this coming. But let's take a look at Naz and Eva.
Yeah, I do find you really attractive and I do love your personality or what I know of you so far. A part of me does really want to kiss you. No disrespect to Demi.
Yeah.
Because she's a cracking girl, but I feel like me and you have a better connection and I am more attracted to you. I just feel that the gent in me just wants to kind of have a conversation with her first.
Yeah, I get that. No, I get that. And I think it's nice as well that you've obviously got that respect. Like, obviously just shows your character.
That's such respect for your girl, isn't it? Such respect.
I mean, I don't know where that respect's been all week, but...
No, but I love the way that came out of a woman's mouth, knowing that he was disrespecting her, like, there was no tomorrow. And is he no good at reading signals? Because if you look at her signals there, she's not that into him at all. No. She treated that as a job interview. Her foot was tapping a metronomic gesture on the floor. She's clearly already bored by him. She was doing accelerated blinking. Yeah, come on, get on with it. Let's just get this... She wants to get into the main villa.
That's kind of the point with the girls all this week. They spent all the morning kind of coming together and plotting, like, right, girls, we need to do this, this, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's either crawling over the wall or it's chatting up Naz. And I'm not sure Naz is in... Why does he keep saying as well that, Demi's not my type, and you are... They look very similar to me. If that's not his type, then she's not his type either. And Demi does at least look at him with admiration. They laugh together and everything like that. Should be a much easier shoe-in to the final and to a win for him. And I don't think he's worked this one through at all. I think he's been... I'm not going to make this as an excuse. I have to say, throwing my wagging finger, I always say with the guys in the villa that that nobody wants them initially. They always then set it out slightly and become really popular with the fans who say, oh no, they're the really nice person, they're the nice person. They've just not been tested, that's the point, because they've had no options.
And he really hasn't, has he?
He hasn't. How do we know what he's like with women? How do we know whether he's loyal or not? Because he's not had the choice.
But we did know when he went on his date with Demi that he is actually very good at flirting and the dating, which is something we didn't see. And he's kind of using the same tactics this week that he did last week with the raised eyebrows and the big grins.
The childlike grin. And so he's trying to look innocent while he's actually doing the dirty on Demi, which... And what did I say last week? I said, Naz is currently really popular. Unless he bites the head off a kitten next week. And I think this could have almost been the equivalent. And I don't know if he'll take her back or whether he's playing.
No, I don't know whether... Of all the storylines that yet to unfold, this is the one I'm less convinced about. Where do you think the Demi move came from, where he said, I don't want to kiss you out of respect to Demi? Because, like I said, he wasn't respectful to Demi all week, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh God, I've got to go back into Casa Amor, not Casa Amor, the main villa at some point. Are we convinced by this?
No. And to be honest, if a guy's got to say, I'm not going to kiss you because of that. You might as well do it, really.
Yeah, but we will when we get in there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you've done the deed and everything apart from exchanging saliva.
Yeah.
So I think for most women that would be it, really.
I mean, promising you're going to kiss someone is essentially as bad as kissing someone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like saying, well, we'll have sex after I've told my girlfriend because I don't want to disrespect her.
Yeah.
No.
I was just wondering whether he kind of, I don't know whether I'm just kind of holding on to hope for Naz, or whether he just got kind of caught up in the hype of all the boys in Casa Amor, and he's looking up to them kind of. Like we were saying before, they kind of treated him like his little brother.
They do, but he's still a grown adult, in a way, isn't he? Well, or any of them. And all right, if I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, just because Demi was the first woman that came in there that kind of showed him any interest, we were all immediately seeing a love relationship, and he might have been thinking, I'm not that into her, but I'm a bit desperate now, really, because I haven't got anybody. In which case, I suppose for him to look around a little bit is fair enough-ish, and that's the most benefit of the doubt that I'm going to give him. But no, I think just because he's got that, I like him, he's funny. I'll forgive anybody probably in there that's pretty funny.
You don't get that many of them in there, do you? Really?
You don't.
No.
Well, not intentionally funny, you know. I mean, you get some that you think, whoa. But no, it's not. I think people had created a version of Naz based on the wide eyes and the innocent look, and clearly not.
I think we underestimated him a bit, haven't we?
Yeah, we didn't.
No, we had him down. We've got to obviously get to Callum, who this week has pretty much been all about Callum and Molly and Shaughna. This kind of just sums up Callum in a nutshell for me.
You need a bit of a...
Rock it up my ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Something.
I want you asking.
Show another facial expression, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Like lay it out,
no
thick,
around.
black and white. What's going on?
Ask me questions and I'll tell you. This is
Lay it out, thick, black and white. What's going on? Is that not a question?
Yeah, in terms of
what's going on in your head?
I just wanted to know what you was for before I let you know. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but what is going on in his head?
Nothing. Really, why are they trying? I mean, why not just take the guy at face value? I think they keep saying, interest on body language, that he's doing a poker face, and even the guys are saying, I can't
he
read
wouldn't know
you.
how.
There's nothing to read. I mean, really, he's like an actor with no script. He keeps saying, well, I want you to tell me. It's like he wants his next line so that he knows where to go and how to behave. Now, what worries me is that Shaughna, I think, chose him for that reason, because I think she realised, and I don't know what she keeps referring to the fact of guys she's dated in the past, but I think she might have realised that here's like a kit man, that I can kind of make my own boyfriend and he will do what I want. It's almost like she got him on a remote control. And it was only when he went out of signal distance that she suddenly... And I have to say, I don't find that relationship particularly healthy for that reason. If you've only got a guy because you tell him what to do and what not to do... And she said, didn't she, I have to tell him to hold my hand.
Why?
What, in bed? You've got to have sex. I mean, it's not healthy and it's not good. And then obviously when he went out of range, which men tend to do because they might go to work, they might go out on a boys' night in real life... And then, I wasn't... She literally scripted him at one point, didn't she? I don't think that's what I would call a proper relationship for her. That's actually mother and young son relationship. She was treating him like he was a naughty boy that needed to be told what to do and kept close to her all the time. That's not going to do her any favours in the real world. And, of course, the big problem with Callum is he will do what he's told, but... By anybody.
By anyone.
By anybody.
Which is what we actually said from week one, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think there is a tendency, and you see it, and I probably said it before, in the celebrity world that, with footballers and whatever, as long as I'm telling them what to do, it's all right. But how long is that going to last? Because they will then meet the first sort of exocet female and they'll do what they tell them to do. I mean,
it's like how he said all week as well, is there's just that sexual attraction. And that's kind of all he's really said about it. There's not really, he hasn't, he doesn't know her personality. He never gets to know. He doesn't know her personality.
No,
If
but
him in the face.
it
as
doesn't
said.
matter because I think he's seeing something that sounds awful, but in his mind, he's seeing something that he wouldn't normally get on offer in real life.
Yeah.
And he feels that if I don't take this opportunity, it's like somebody said, you've got a Rolls Royce that you can win over there. I won't get the chance. And in fact, again, the guys dripping poison. You need to be punching above your weight. That's what this is all about. Is it really?
No. When's that ever worked?
And also, you look at their body language together. How many cushions did they have? Cushions on their lap and everything. I think, again, he hasn't realised that she wants to get into the main villa. She wants more airtime. And when he came out with all the different... he's trying to make himself sound all right and cop off with her, and I think he might know that's not going to work. Does it know? Does he know any? I know it sounds awful to say it, but I think his brain doesn't work at a kind of strategic level at all, really. It's just... And I think Mike's been feeding that with a kind of, I just want to do what's right now, just live in the moment. Well, clearly the moment is going to be this absolutely gorgeous woman that is in his bed.
I mean, without Shaughna there's been a few people holding his hand, kind of pulling him along to this point, hasn't there, really?
But having said that, with all of them, they've still got a brain in their head.
He's an adult. He
is by default, by definition, an adult. What's he, a scaffolder? He's probably got to make sure that the scaffold all stays up, and he's got decisions to take. And so I am going to blame them for doing it as much as I know that a lot of it has been fed by the others.
And just kind of Callum and Molly, I think it is a case that we just touched on there, that she just wants to get in that villa, isn't it?
Why did they all suddenly fancy Callum? I mean, maybe I'm missing something about Callum, but all the women came in thinking, and they knew that with him came the biggest drama. The whole world is waiting to see the reunion and the tears and everything. And here's what I'm worried about. I'm a little bit worried that because of formulaic plot lines, so that we're all judging exactly by what happened in the last series, I'm a little bit worried that there might be this little twist where he doesn't take her in. He goes in and Shaughna's, thank God, give it, and then we're all going to know what he was getting up to. And she'll forgive him because she in her mind, she might work it that, I wasn't there to tell you what not to do, so I'll forgive.
Well, she's been expecting it, hasn't she?
I know,
and she still hasn't dumped him. Even though she's like, I know that this is happening.
That's going to be really grim, really grim.
Well, we did get a little teaser of what's to come last night, so we're going to have to look at that.
Tonight there will be a recoupling in which you must decide whether you want to remain coupled up with your partner back in the villa.
Or recouple with one of the new boys.
Two fellas
This is going to be a very, very fiery one.
Yeah, she'll go fucking mad.
are reunited.
I just know what's coming.
Everyone's gonna hate me when I get back.
So there's kind of two things in that which I find really interesting. One thing with Shaughna all week has just been this defeated, deflated attitude all week.
Her face looks like she's just been crying all the time.
And then Callum's ready for battle, isn't it? What can we take from that?
Well, I think Callum thinks that he's found a strong woman in Molly and she'll go and do the battle for him.
Yeah.
He can sit back and watch those two women fight it out. There's trouble brewing when...
That's exactly how it's going to follow. Just as she said that, then I was like, yeah, that's spot on. It is.
There's trouble brewing when Jessie's tongue comes out again as well in that clip. Whoa. No, but the only thing that I always wonder, do they not watch the show? What, the guys are sitting there, like, they're hearing these rules for the first time. They must know this is going to happen. They've all worked out, apart from Callum in their own mind, I think, as to what's going to... But I think the only one we're really interested in is the big bout, the heavyweight battle between Shaughna and Callum, and Molly, if she goes in there.
Where do you think Shaughna's... Because she's just so desperate to cling on to it, knowing that he's going to come back with another girl. And she just, it's just been this... It's been sad to watch this week, and it's just no concept of kind of moving forward, or it's just, I don't know, it's interesting.
The only thing I would say is that for a lot of people, not just women, this kind of, I know what's going to happen, the worst is going to happen, etc., that can be used as a kind of... buffer I don't think she really believes he's going to come back with somebody. I think for a lot of people, they think by saying it, by dreading it, that it will somehow not happen.
Like a defence mechanism.
Yeah. And as much as we like to think that she's prepared for it, in her heart of hearts, I don't think she is. I think she'll still be expecting a reunion. And I think we might get a reaction of, oh, I knew that was going to happen. But you're absolutely right, that will be a defence mechanism. It will still hurt, though.
Because if she was expecting it, you know, she hasn't made any effort this week with any of the boys, has she?
No, and that if you really, really, really knew 100% that was going to happen, like we all did, the big thing to do would have been making a beeline for somebody that would just make him look so small.
Yeah.
And, you know, I go back to her VT. She was the battler, and straight away, don't give me any grief and this, that and the other. And now we're seeing this very defeated woman. And that I find sad as well.
She's had her moments when she's been like that, when she's confronted Mike and she confronted Sophie. But with Callum, no.
I mean,
this week's just been a very different Shaughna, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's a shame because she's the stalwart of the whole series as well. It's her one-liners, and all that. And the fact that she's very shrewd about seeing what's happening. And it's sad to see that even though she's still shrewd about it, I still think she's mush inside. She's not prepared for it at all.
And just looking at kind of Callum gearing up to go back into the villa, I think you're right, and he probably is going to sit back and watch it unfold.
I have a horrible feeling that she's going to be forgiving him one way, or it's going to be...
I don't think it's the end of Callum and Shaughna.
No, I think even if Molly does go in, I think it's going to be that, I really made a big mistake.
Come back here.
Blah, blah, blah. And can I say, the big worry with me with Shaughna is that really shows what sort of mush emotionally she is. She's been scoffing food, sweets, you know, and that's a sign that she's kind of lost hope a bit, and it's maybe triggering...
She said also, didn't she, I'm not going to shave, I'm not going to do this, and just like...
Yeah.
Which, you know, fair enough. But
can you imagine, he goes back in after 2 days, there's somebody's in a chocolate in her hair. That sadly implies that she's given up a bit, and... will we be sympathetic for very long, or is she going to end up looking a bit pathetic?
She's losing this. She's definitely starting to lose the sympathy. I'm still Team Shaughna, and I think it's actually really relatable. It's just low self-esteem, and you know, like you said before, it's kind of, I think she was so used to having that control over this relationship, and then when the control's taken away, and also it's Callum.
That's the point. I think with Amber and Michael last year, I kind of got it a bit more. They'd had a much more established relationship, and she'd also been the feisty one, and she didn't go into complete meltdown, did she? She went into shutdown. It was like, I'll just carry on and I won't show...
If you want a lesson in Casa Amor, Amber gave it, didn't she, last year?
Amber did give it, he wouldn't have been sure whether he'd hurt her or not, and that probably would have confused him a lot. With Callum, there's no point in confusing him because that's pretty much how he is anyway. I don't want to see Shaughna watching his relationship break down and her offering to sort it out for him like Mummy and taking him back. That will be beyond tragic.
Well, we're going to find out tonight. The recoupling's tonight.
Who's going to be the hero to Zero next week?
I don't know if there'll be any heroes next week. I don't know.
No, maybe it's better that if they're all baddies, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Well, then find out next week when we're back with another episode of Love or Lie Island.